Hey guys, it's Appleminte. Welcome back again to my channel. So for today's video, I'm doing something that I haven't done in a little while, and I feel like I start off a lot of my videos with that same sentence, but I haven't done this in a little while, which is unbox a Scrawlrbox. I've been receiving them and posting about them on my social media, but I haven't really posted a video about them here in a little while, and I was really excited to do that for today, really inspired since it's Mermay, and I want to create something fun. So let's get right into it, unboxing these goodies and see what's in this month's box. So I'm gonna start with the biggest item on the bottom, which seems to be A5 watercolor paper. So you guys know that my go-to is usually this size, which is 5.5 by 8.5. I think this is pretty close. So judging based off the watercolor paper, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is going to be a watercolor themed box. They started including zines. This is really cool. So they have they have the photo of everything on the front. I'm used to the little cards, which I think there is a little card in here, but I don't want to read it yet. And this is the artwork for the month. This is really pretty. Here's the artist information if you guys are curious. Okay. Now to the actual goodies. All right. I'm just gonna pull things out of here one by one. I'm already doing this wrong. So they included a little paintbrush. This one's pretty nice. I mean, it's just a standard brush. I get a lot of these brushes from art subscription boxes. Okay, so what are these? Faber, Castell, Albrecht, Durer watercolor markers. Ooh, these are taking basically my two favorite art supplies, which would be marker and watercolor, and just combining them into one thing. So that's really awesome. I'm really excited about this. It's double-sided. That's really great. Look, it's got a brush nib. Yes. Usually a lot of these markers will have a bullet nib and then a chisel on the other end. I hate the chisel end. Okay. Looks like we just have a regular sketching pencil in here. Literally every subscription box I get always has some kind of pencil in it, which I guess is good, but you know, I have so many now. And the last thing in this box, other than the info card and sticker, is these Albrecht Durer colored pencils, I guess, or maybe they're watercolor pencils. Here they are up close. So I've got red, green, and black. I don't know if everybody got those colors or if these are the colors in my box. Sometimes boxes vary. Okay, so it seems I was right. These are watercolor pencils, and these are really, really thick, honestly. These are huge. This is the paintbrush, and this is the pencil. There's such a difference. Oh, wow. Anyway, I'm really, really excited about this month. It's all watercolor based, but it's not traditional watercolors, some markers and some pencils. So I'm really excited to see what I can make with these. So I'm gonna start testing out some of these supplies, and then we're gonna get into drafting our drawing. I'm gonna start off by testing out some of these markers. And of course, I'm gonna use the brush tip. So I guess I'm gonna first place some of this down like so. And I'm gonna try it with dry on wet and then wet on dry. So this would be dry, and let's add some water to it. Wow. I've had watercolor markers in the past that just didn't do anything. Roll the clip. Yeah, that's just what I expected. It's definitely not doing the same thing. Okay, but I guess when you add water, it does kind of work. And now that I've taken up half the page for one color, I'm going to just try to make my little samples a little smaller. I don't know if these are meant to be used this way, but I guess I could always blend it back out. And this yellow is really nice too. I'm just gonna add a little bit. Oh yes. Yes, this is perfect. I approve. Like these, legitimately, I did a way better swatch of this than I did with that. Please ignore that one. These are really, really nice in terms of how smoothly it blends out. So since I'm doing this on watercolor paper, you're gonna see the paper texture coming through. Yes. Like I barely have to add any water and it blends out so nicely. Sometimes when you use these kinds of products, you can see all of the pencil underneath it and it doesn't blend out as nicely. But needless to say, I'm pretty in love with these supplies already. So I'm gonna start drafting a sketch for what I wanna do, and then we're gonna get right into it, and I'm gonna use all of these products in my artwork. So to start out this illustration, I'm gonna be using my Prismacolor Kohl Erase pencil in red to do the sketching. Now I've been using this pencil quite a lot lately for my drawings. But for this specifically, I think it's pretty necessary, just because if I was to go in with graphite on a watercolor painting and then, you know, paint over it, it would smudge like crazy. And I don't want to necessarily have to worry about erasing the pencil lines. For watercolor painting specifically, I kind of like when the pencil shows from underneath, and this red pencil doesn't have any issue with smudging. So I think it's a great pencil to use when doing a watercolor illustration. I just think that graphite is too messy and I'd rather stay away from that. So for the markers themselves specifically, I don't think that going straight onto the paper with the marker and then blending it out would be a great idea. Because of how pigmented they are, I think it would just be too dark. So as you see here, I'm taking a watercolor palette that I have, and I'm gonna be using that for my base area to be mixing the paints on. Because while I can go straight onto this illustration with a lot of these materials, I think that for the most part, they might be a little too vibrant to go in on that. So I think it's safer to have a little area where I can create a lighter wash of each color and then choose if I want to make it darker on the painting. The only exception is that I'm going to be using the red directly on here. And speaking of red, I'm going to be painting Ariel from The Little Mermaid, if you couldn't already tell. So Ariel has really bright, vibrant red hair. That's one of her main features. And so I want that to show. I want to take advantage of the fact that there was a very vibrant red watercolor pencil included in this set. And I'm applying different pressures to the pencil on different sections of her hair to give certain areas a lighter look and certain areas a more vibrant dark look, just to give it a little bit more variety in the color without it all being one red blob. Something you'll also notice that I've been doing is that on certain areas that I want to be a little darker on her hair, I'm also taking the brown pencil and I'm layering that over the red. And that's one thing I'll say that's really nice about using watercolor pencils over watercolors, is that when you want to make an area a little darker, you can just color it in like you would normally with regular pencils, you know, layering them to get colors maybe you don't have or to make certain areas darker. Or just applying more pressure with the pencil to get more onto the page. And then once you add water, it creates a very dark area, a new color. So it's nice that I can do that directly on the page with the pencil before actually adding water. Sometimes mixing paint can be a little, you know, finicky and a little confusing. So this is pretty straightforward, and it's a nice feature of using watercolor pencils. But I will say, like I mentioned before, when I was swatching these materials, these pencils and the markers pretty much just melt straight into watercolor. I really like using them, and I've used a few different brands of watercolored pencils before. I think I have some Durer ones, I have the Crayola ones that I've used in the past, and not to say that the Crayola ones aren't good, but I really like these. I can feel the difference in the quality. These are very soft, and the fact that the pencils are so thick and so big, I think that they're gonna last me a while. So for Ariel's eyes, you'll see that I went directly in with the blue marker, and that is the only area on the painting that I actually went in with the blue marker, maybe other than Flounder on the side. But on Ariel herself, I wanted to keep the colors much lighter overall, just so her red hair stands out a lot more. Now, to make colors that I didn't have, like purples or a bluish green, etc., what I did was I was able to mix some of the blue marker and the red pencil, for example, on the palette and then get purple that way. So I originally thought maybe putting the pencil onto the palette wasn't going to do anything, but because these pencils are so soft, the lead is so soft, I was able to get a lot of color just by coloring directly onto the palette off from the pencil and then just mix it in with the blue of the marker and it would create a new color. So that's really cool. I think that these are very versatile tools, and I really enjoyed using them today. I had a pretty bad experience with water-soluble markers in the past. I think it was almost exactly a year ago. It was an older Scrawlrbox, and I just wasn't happy with those markers. I just felt like they didn't blend at all, and they were tearing up my paper. But these feel really great to use. And I really like having the option of creating a light wash on the side if I want, or I can just go directly onto the page with the materials themselves and then just blend them out that way. So I ended up deciding to do a outline of her with my micron pens, just because I thought that it looked a little too light. I wanted some more details to stand out, and I think that outlining always adds that extra oomph that a drawing is missing. So I was happy to do that on her hair. I think it really helps the reds and the different sections to stand out. And when it came to the rest of the painting, I think I had it down on how to mix those colors from, you know, playing around with them on my palette. And I was just having a ball at this point. I really liked using these supplies in this month's box. Sometimes subscription boxes can be a hit or a miss, but specifically for me, I love watercolor and I love markers. And so I was right at home with these materials and I really liked them this month. So, I mean, thank you for Scrawlrbox for sending me these materials. I had a lot of fun trying them out and creating this painting for Mermay. So yeah, I hope you guys really liked what I created today, and I hope it inspires you in some way to go out and try new materials or to paint something for the month of Mermay. We only have a few weeks left, maybe 1 week left actually. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, if you like this drawing, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. And as always, all of my links are in the description box below. As always, I have the link to my online store, my Patreon pin club, my Discord server, all that is there, so go check that out. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a beautiful, amazing, healthy, safe week. And I will see you all in my next video next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time as always. Bye bye!